Alright, hello and welcome back to Gabriel Knight 2, The Beast Within. When we last left off, Gracie here had taken an urgent trip into Rittersburg to try to help Gabriel with his case, only to find that he had already left, gone off to somewhere near Munich to work on the case without leaving any information for her behind. We've learned a little bit about it, but most people are a little hesitant to reveal information related to the Schottenjäger without his express permission. And so Grace is kind of stumbling a little bit through the dark, but ultimately clawing her way forward. Let's head back to Schloss Ritter, where we will hopefully be able to learn a little bit more information. We did learn last time that Gabriel's car is here. Let's see if Gerda's willing to give us the keys so we can get around easier.
Gerda? Yes? Do you have the keys to the car outside?
That is Gabriel's car. He doesn't even let me drive it.
I had a feeling you'd say that. Well, thanks.
All right.
Gracie's thinking that maybe Gabriel doesn't let Gerda drive his car, but that he's letting her drive something else. Let's see if we can learn a little more. So, the workman has gone, but he did leave behind a couple of things. First of all, there's this missing stone that I don't know if he pulled out or he's planning on fixing, but there is a piece missing here, which reveals an opening. And if we look in his case, we see this nice long screwdriver. Which we can look up and utilize to release a little latch. A little obvious, but I'm okay with that. Also realizing we never bothered to look in Grace's inventory, so she has her notebook, which we can't really do much of interest with, the letter that Gabriel sent her, which we read in the opening video, her wallet, and then also a card.
Bert Barkley knows more about history than I ever will, especially at this rate.
Or an old professor of hers, mentor, I'm not sure, but good to know that we have that. Now, it sounded like that opening came from this closet over here, which was empty and uninteresting before, but now has opened up a little secret exit.
Someone's been using this passageway.
Alright. You know what? So there's two ways to go here. We're going to be going this way, but let's just head down first. Oh, we can see what Grace has to say about herself.
Grace Nakamura.
Fair enough. Not surprisingly, Gabriel's much more flowery, just even the way he says his own name. Some trepidation, Grace walks down the secret passage. Hopefully she doesn't find anything too untoward down here. A lot of lingering stairs. All right, so let's take a look at some of the things down here. Not a
How
lot.
convenient. When the lord of the manor is slipping through the passageway to his amorous adventures, he can pick up a few flowers.
And then there might be something over here to click. Yeah.
An emergency exit. I guess that makes sense if you're fighting the legions of darkness.
And then we can look over this way, not that there's much to do, and just see.
The castle looks huge from here. They've got more rooms left to restore than I thought.
And I guess we don't see the rest of the castle because it's under construction. I don't know. Anyway, you can't actually travel anywhere over here, which is fine. I assume it just kind of wraps around the outside of the castle. So let's head back up and go to that other room. And we will see maybe who's been using this passageway.
Let me guess. Gerda's bedroom. What a surprise.
Grace, knowing Gabriel as she does, has pretty quickly figured out what's been going on between the two of them. Not a lot to do in here. We could try and leave.
I can't go out that way. I don't want Gerda to know I'm in here.
And then we can look at a few things on her dresser. Really, I think just one thing.
That must be Wolfgang. Something to remember him by, I guess.
Well, that's nice that Gerda wants to remember her old boss who passed away. Now, of more value to us is when we try to leave. We will uncover a handy little number right here. Is, of course, the key to the Ritter Library. I wish you wouldn't close that door, because we're going to go through it again now. And let's head out back to R/Gabriel's room. Oops, did not mean to do that. So that lets us kind of rewatch any videos we may have missed or want to relearn about. So let's ignore that. But a nice little feature.
It's locked.
So take our key. Enter the Ritter Library. So we can start looking at these shelves, and I think if we try and click over here,
The Journal of Victor Ritter.
so these shelves have case files. I think we don't have anything we're interested in here yet. Let's check.
Biographies.
Yeah.
Looks like they're mostly about Germans.
But if we click in this middle shelf, which is more of the pure research, then We'll find some interesting
Books
things
on the
werewolves.
occult. Here we go. Vampires, witchcraft, ghosts, Asian spirits. Lycanthropes.
How did you get in here?
Oh, hi.
How did you unlock the door?
Not very subtle, Grace.
Oh, I see.
All right. Look, let's just drop all the pretense, okay? Obviously, I found the passageway. I know what's been going on in this little Alpinian love nest, and really, I couldn't care less. If you want to screw around with your employer, that's none of my business. But what I won't put up with is assisting the Schottenjäger crap. I gave up school to work on this stuff because I thought it was important. I'm doing the research that Gabriel wanted, and so help me, I'm going to be doing more than just research this time around. And I'm not going to sit around and wait for him to call and give me permission. And if you don't like it, it's just too damn bad!
Okay, fine. You do the damn research. Damn it.
I think we'll just let that sit for now, and maybe we'll come back to it. But for the time being, we'll just proceed forward with our research and let their relationship unfold as it will. So I'm going to be doing a good bit of reading here that maybe you won't be quite so interested in. I'm not sure. I personally find it to be quite fascinating and really feeds into the story, so hopefully you feel the same.
4th of March, 1864. To King Ludwig II, most gracious ruler of all Bavaria. I beg your forgiveness for my forthrightness in this letter, but I fear terribly for your Majesty's safety and thus have no time for subtlety. I have heard that the one they call the Black Wolf is close to your Highness. I have been investigating this man for reasons I cannot name at present, and I have learned that he is extremely dangerous and can only have the most dire of motives at heart in anything he pursues. I beg your Highness only this. Please do not see this man alone, nor even with your servants only to guard you. I promise you, all will be made clear very shortly when my investigation is complete. For now, only keep yourself safe. Your most grateful servant, Christian von Ritter, Schloss Ritter, Rittersburg, Bavaria.
All right, so that's a letter from Christian Ritter to King Ludwig concerning this Black Wolf character. And then let's read about lycanthropy, and then we can read Victor Ritter's journal after.
Chapter 3. Lycanthropy, the ways of the wolf. There are two categories of werewolf cases: false or lycanthropic disorder cases and genuine werewolf cases. Lycanthropic disorder. Lycanthropic disorder is a mental condition in which the subject, called a lycanthrope, believes that he or she is a werewolf. The subject does not actually change shape, but is nevertheless capable of being as dangerous as an actual werewolf. Most cases of supposed werewolfery are really the work of lycanthropic disorder victims, man to beast. In real werewolves, a physical change to wolf form does occur. The change can be voluntary, at will, or can be forced by certain cycles of the moon and certain sounds, such as howling. Werewolves and immortality. Werewolves are immune from aging and from most physical diseases due to the constant regeneration of their physical tissue. They can therefore be virtually immortal. However, they can be killed by any wound that destroys the heart or the brain, or any form of death that causes brain or heart damage, such as hanging or other oxygen deprivation methods. The mind of a werewolf. Though primarily a true wolf while in wolf form, there is some proof that the werewolf retains enough knowledge to assist his killing. Recognition of victims, evasion of traps, and human cunning have all been seen on werewolf cases. Becoming a werewolf. There are several ways to become a werewolf. They include being given the power of shape-shifting through sorcery, being cursed by someone whom you have wronged in some way, called the Lyconia curse, being bitten by a werewolf, and being born to a werewolf. In each case, the blood of the subject becomes tainted or cursed. Damnation. A person who becomes a werewolf against his will, birth, curse, or bite, is not completely damned until he tastes of human blood. Once he does, his soul is eternally damned and nothing may redeem him. Even without tasting of human blood, however, as long as the taint lays upon the immortal soul, it cannot enter into heaven and will remain chained to the mortal plane upon death.
Think this out more.
Werewolf packs. Like real wolves, werewolves can live alone for many years, yet the instinct for a pack often leads them away from their secretive lifestyles into revealing their nature to a priest or close associate, or converting another to a werewolfery for companionship. This is when the otherwise cagey werewolf opens himself to detection. Werewolf packs cause immense destruction. A pack consists of one werewolf who became a werewolf through sorcery, birth, or curse. In other words, his is the original tainted blood. This werewolf is called the alpha werewolf. The remaining werewolves in the pack are called beta werewolves because they became werewolves through the bite of the alpha and carry the alpha's tainted blood. Alpha and beta werewolves. The relationship between alpha and beta werewolves is a complex one. Once a subject is bitten by a werewolf, his or her life and death are doomed to the werewolf curse. The victim does, however, have some hope. As long as they themselves do not taste of human blood, the curse is reversible. If the alpha werewolf is killed through some action of the beta's curse is broken. It is important to note that whether the beta werewolf was bitten by the alpha werewolf himself or by another beta, it is the alpha who must be destroyed, the source of the original tainted blood. It is also an interesting note that since betas and alphas share the same common blood, an alpha cannot physically harm a beta of his own bloodline by his own hand without inflicting the same injury upon himself. However, if a beta is harmed or killed by another, it does not affect the alpha. Symptoms of werewolfery. When hunting for a werewolf, it is important to remember that your biggest clues will come through your suspects' personalities. Becoming a werewolf is not transparent, no matter how the victim tries to hide it. The tainted subhuman blood greatly alters the subject's own mind and personality, even physical appearance. Therefore, look for symptoms in your human suspects that include increasing violence, increasing aggression, unprovoked rages, insomnia, restlessness, and other bizarre behavior. Unfortunately, over time, these symptoms can be brought under control, so do not rely upon them exclusively. A good example of this comes from a case reported by the ancient priesthood society Manos del Sol of Brazil. A rash of werewolf killings there was tracked to a high-ranking officer in the army. The society became aware of the man mainly through rumors of his violent behavior and changed personality. The case was successfully resolved with a man's capture. Manos del Sol, men of the sun? I wonder if they're like Schottenjägers, only Brazilian.
Interesting. All right, so that is the longest section there, but we will now dive into this Ritter journal.
Numerous deaths at the hands of a marauding wolf being recorded in a neighboring county, I set out to see if I could determine the cause. There had been rumors of a werewolf, and the dark signs did indeed seem to be present. The deaths had all occurred within a 40-kilometer range of woods, and at the heart was the village of Alfing. My assistant and I set a trap a short distance from the village. Though the beast had shown a propensity for human flesh, livestock had also been taken. It was a newling lamb we loosed in the thicket as a lure. We awaited downwind. For 2 nights the lamb bleated to no purpose, and once we had to fend off a hungry fox. But at last the beast himself took the bait. I might have missed him. The night was so dark, and the wolf himself was black. But my assistant saw the light of his eyes, and I heard the lamb's cries turn fearful. He had the poor dumb lamb by the throat when we sprang.
Poor lamb?
He was swift and might have escaped, but his fatal mistake was to attack rather than run. My dagger struck through his chest and into his right lung. As I had agreed, we bound the wolf and tied shut its jaws. We brought it home to Rittersburg, still breathing, and turned it over to the magistrate. I pray for the man's unfortunate soul. May the law be swift and merciful. God be praised for aiding his servant. From his hand came the strength and wisdom to end the killing. Victor Ritter, Schottenjäger, 20 April 1750.
Sounds like a date we could use. All right, I don't remember if there are any other books we want to get. Let's take a peek.
I wonder if Christian Ritter's journal is here.
This is the one who's trying to warn King Ludwig about the Black Wolf.
Christian Ritter, born 10 January 1820, ordained a Schottenjäger, died 4 March 1864. The 4th of March. That's the date on the letter.
Perhaps he did not do so well against the Black Wolf. Oops.
3 January 1864. I am now in Prussia. The beast that brought me here has so far bested me. He is secretive and skillful. He has much self-control, unlike what I'd been led to expect. He seems to know almost before I do where and when I will be stalking him. He turns up his nose at my lures. 3 more disappearances have occurred, and I'm no closer to learning his identity nor finding his lair. I can't even prove he took them. Not a single corpse has been found. March 3rd, 1864. I have had a break at last. The key was in front of me all the time. The Black Wolf, he so daringly calls himself, for all to hear and none to truly see. It is worse than I could ever have suspected. He is not just a beast, but a monster. His jaws are already around some of the best throats in Europe. I return to Rittersburg tonight. I must warn those in danger and get someone to assist me. I am in over my head.
That's all there is to say. All right, so I think that's the last case file we need.
I'm not sure what other case books would be relevant.
No other occult books.
There's nothing else on werewolves in the occult section.
And we will scroll through this, but I don't think we collect anything.
Looks like biographies here. I wonder if there's anything on... Yes, Ludwig, König von Bayern, König Ludwig, sein Leben und sein Sieg, die letzten Tage des König Ludwig II. German. That's not much help.
Oh, well, that's too bad. All right, so let's come over to the desk. We can make fun of Gabriel a little bit.
Hard at work night.
A little more.
I suppose in the next Blake Backlash book, good old Fujitsu will be replaced by Hildegard.
As much as she hates it, it seems that she hates being ignored even more. We don't quite have what we need to write an update, Gabriel, yet.
I'm not quite ready to write the big hero yet.
We can, however, get a little assistance. Try Professor Barkley here, the history expert, and see if he can give us any information on any of these individuals we've been researching. Gracie, of course, doesn't seem to remember that she's in Germany.
Hello?
Professor Barkley, this is Grace Nakamura. I'm calling from Germany.
Germany? I thought you were in New Orleans.
I was, but anyway, it's rather important or I wouldn't have bothered you. Do you know anything about King Ludwig II of Bavaria?
Well, that's a hell of a thing to ask a man in the middle of the night. Late 1800s, right?
Yes.
This isn't really my field, but I think he was crazy or something.
I wish I knew. Do you know anyone who specializes in German history?
Yeah, I have a friend at the University of Berlin. I'll ring him. What's your number there?
It's 4989-555-7878.
Okay, I'll call you back if I remember this conversation in the morning anyway.
Great. Sorry again. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
All right. That's always fun. So I think that maybe we will leave things here, and when we come back, we will take the information we learned back to the not courthouse, but the town hall, the rat house, and see if we can learn more about this case and dive a little further into things. But till then, hopefully you enjoyed, and till next time, see you.